Hello everyone, welcome to the third lecture in the series of Indian economy before independence. This is the third video and the last video for theory of brain. Basically, this theory of brain was divided into three phases. The first one was merchant capital phase. It begins from 1757 to 1800. And the second one was the industrial capital phase. It starts from 1800 to 1900. And the final one was financial capital phase from 1900 to 1947. So in this video, we're going to discuss deep about this broadly divided these three phases. So first, let me tell you a little bit of history. Why are we using this word, the drain? I mean, the theory of drain and drain of wealth. Who created that word and what's the need of it? So during the last part of 19th century, there's great controversy arose over the question of drain between our Indian leaders and Britain leaders. Our nationalist thinkers, Indians, developed the theory of drain as we discussed in the first and second lecture before. So the main cause for creating this drain was to analyze the main cause of poverty in India. So the drain was the main reason for poverty in India. And the nationalist Indians believed that a lot of India's wealth was sent to England without getting much in return. And that's true. The first person who talked about this drain was Dadabhai Naroji in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, which was published in 1871. We discussed about it in the first lecture itself. So he wanted to understand why this was happening, how much wealth was being taken, and what it meant for India. There were other economists too, like Harsi Datta and others. They also talked about this drain, and they say that saying it was like England was sucking away India's resources and wealth for its own benefit. They called it the economic drain. Dadabhai Naroji's idea of drain was later explained by others like Justice Ranad and Maulik Sarkar, who said it was the main reason why the British were taking over India's economy. So now we'll get into the merchant capital period and systematic extraction of resources from India by the East India Company. During this time, the East India Company devised cunning policies to siphon surplus from Indian agriculture, facilitating the transfer of wealth to Britain. Okay, let's expose some typical methods they employed. First, they implemented permanent and temporary settlement systems across India, fixing exorbitant revenue targets. Fixing high revenue targets to be collected by the Presidency of Bengal. This meant substantial wealth extraction, effectively silencing Indian voices and financing British operations in India through these revenues. Secondly, administrative extraction was rampant, while British officers and subjects given free rein to exploit India through bribery, gifts, and the sale of trading rights. Lastly, the East India Company shamelessly levied war damages from Indian princes, while hiring mercenary soldiers at the expense of very kingdoms they were meant to protect. There's a historian called William Digby. His calculations reveal a staggering drain of wealth amounting to 100 crore pounds, 100 crore pounds, not rupees, between 1757 and 1815. This figure underscores the magnitude of economic exploitation inflicted upon India during this period. So during the industrial capital period, which was from 1800 to 1900, the British were kind of mean to India. They didn't want to they didn't want Indian industries to grow, but they wanted everyone to buy their stuff. So let me tell you how they do it. First, they made sure British stuff coming to India had lower taxes than stuff from other places. This made British goods cheaper and more popular in India. Then they didn't really support Indian handicraft, which were like handmade goods in India. This made it harder for Indian craftsmen to make money. Also, they messed with the values of Indian money so that it was more expensive to sell stuff out of India and cheaper to buy stuff into India. It was kind of sneaky. All because of this, India's money stayed the same, but industries didn't grow much. Instead, The British focused on making money from things like tea and sugarcane farms by not helping Indian industries. Then, in the financial capital period, from 1900 to 1947, things didn't get better. The British kept taking money from India in different ways. They took money from India and invested it back as British money, making sure they always got paid. They also made India pay for things like wars and rebellions, which was really unfair, right? There were also some tricky things going on with money, where the British made sure Indian stuff sold for cheap, while their stuff sold for more. And they paid Indian workers really low wages, which wasn't nice. In total, a lot of money, about 85 crore pounds, was taken from India between 1900 and 1939, which was a lot of money back then. So these times were tough for India. These times were tough for India, with the British taking a lot of money and not really helping Indian businesses grow. It's an important part of our history to understand. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time. Thank you.